Okay, so today we are going to talk about one of Gilbert's favorite, Waterston North, built by Tri Pointe Homes. And we're going to get real today. We're going to talk about the positives, but more importantly, the negatives of this community. Because I'll be honest, the pros of living in this community are pretty apparent when you see the tour, but the cons might not be quite as obvious. And we're going to get into the details. We're going to talk about price, location, crime, schools, all the stuff that you probably want to know before buying a home. And the reason I highlight the good and the bad is because we don't want any surprises. Now, I love a proper surprise at my birthday, but when you're making one of the biggest purchases of your life, like buying a home, you don't really want any surprises. I'm Courtney Straussick, your local Phoenix realtor, and I always like to highlight there is a neighborhood out there for every person, but not every neighborhood is for every person. But let's talk about location of Waterston North. It is south of the 202, right on the border of Chandler, actually. It is a little bit further on the south side of Gilbert, so it feels a little bit more open, a little less congested than, let's say, like closer to the 60 or downtown Gilbert. But you're still in the heart of the suburbs, so you still have all the things. You have two major shopping centers close by. About 7 minutes away, you have Crossroads Town Center, and then about 10 minutes away, you have the Santan Village. The hospital, Mercy Gilbert, is only a couple blocks north, and then with 5 minutes of the community, you have Fry's Marketplace, which is one of our biggest grocery stores here in the Phoenix metro area, and then you also have Sprouts. And not to mention that you have two of the best parks in the East Valley immediately next to this neighborhood. You have Veterans Oasis Park, which is this gorgeous park with botanical gardens, lake, walking trails, bike trails. And then you have the award-winning Gilbert Regional Park, which has incredible playgrounds. They have tons of recreational spaces. I'm telling you guys, their pickleball courts are incredible. Now, within the neighborhood of Waterston North, you really have two main areas or two different collections of homes. The one is a little bit more expensive than the other, but all the homes have access to the amenities, which we're going to talk about in a moment, because the amenities are really what makes this neighborhood just remarkable. So they do have 1 and 2 story home options, and they do have a couple floor plans that are actually next generation floor plans. So the size of the homes do vary. Some of the more affordable options, those are going to be closer to like 1,800, 2,000 square feet, and then it goes all the way up to about 4,000 square feet. So depending on floor plan, there are 3 to 5 bedrooms, 2 to 4 baths, and then 2 to 3 car garages. So the lot size again can vary depending on price, but most of them are going to be around that 6,000 square foot lot size, which is pretty standard for Gilbert, particularly with newer development. Now, as far as the interior of the home, the upgrades and the features do vary, again, depending on price point. Some of the more expensive homes, you're gonna see really high-end gourmet kitchens, higher-end plumbing, beautiful fixtures, perfectly manicured backyards, and of course, a lot of custom features. Now, the more affordable home options in this neighborhood, they're not gonna have as many custom features, but you're still gonna find a lot of like vinyl plank or wood grain tile, quartz countertops, GE appliances, spacious floor plans. And I do have to say, these homes actually have done really, really well with storage and closet space. But the amenities, like I mentioned a moment ago, are really what make this neighborhood so incredible. And it actually has received some awards as well. So in the middle of the community, you actually have what they call the Central Park that has this gorgeous central lake. This area is about 7 acres. There's also an incredible pool, and this pool is right off the clubhouse. And this pool, it's not your normal public community pool. They really keep it in tip-top shape. I would say this community is pretty family oriented. There's a lot of playgrounds, there's some basketball courts too, and there's this incredible ramada. It's a great place to watch a sunset. I was actually there at sunset and the colors were amazing. And then right next to the ramada, they actually have a fire pit with several chairs. And then throughout the community, they actually have several walking trails just through these different green spaces. So it really, really is a great place, whether you're walking with your kids or your dog, just to be outside. So as far as HOA fees, it's definitely not the cheapest, but considering all the amenities that do come, I do feel that it's a pretty fair price. It's $163 a month. I do want to highlight schools. So even though you're in the city limits of Gilbert, you're actually in the Chandler School District. And when we look at the ratings on niche.com, you can actually see the school district received an A+, and it was actually ranked the #1 best school district in the state of Arizona. So I'll put the link in below so you can look at this a little bit further. And as far as crime goes, when I'm working with clients, I encourage people to check out two different resources, crimeparade.org, which you can actually look at here. You can see the dark green indicates that it's an A plus for safety, and then the darker the colors go towards red indicates a higher crime rate. And then if you look at neighborhoodscout.com, another great resource, and you can actually break down and see what type of crime is actually in this area or what has been reported in this area. So these are two great resources, regardless of if you're interested in Waterston North or not. These are two great resources I encourage people to check out. Okay, so it's a beautiful neighborhood, but let's get real. Let's talk about some of the cons in this neighborhood. And the first con is price point. When I say that, I don't mean that I believe these homes are overpriced. I think they are fairly priced. However, it's just not the most affordable area in the greater Phoenix metro area. There is one home that is in the 500s, but you're gonna see most of the homes in the 6, 7, 800s, and then it goes all the way up actually to $1.5 million. In Gilbert, the median sales price as of 2024 is $555,000, but this zip code in Gilbert is actually one of the more expensive zip codes, and the median sales price here is $669,000. Now, the amenities in this master plan community, it's probably the best or one of the best neighborhoods in this zip code, but I would say the houses are pretty on par with a lot of other houses as far as just quality, size, and upgrades for this price point. Now, the second con is the lots aren't terribly large. Generally, for this part of Gilbert, I would say these lot sizes are pretty standard. But if you're getting into more of that luxury price point and you want a larger lot, you're probably gonna have better luck going further on the outskirts of Phoenix Metro, like towards Queen Creek. But the further outside of town you go, you're in essence trading location for a larger lot size. However, if you are looking for a larger lot size and you don't want to go as far as like Queen Creek or Santan, there are some larger lot sizes in this area of Gilbert, but most of them are not in an established neighborhood. They're more just independent lots without an HOA or amenities. There's not many of them and they're kind of hard to come by, but they are out there. Now, the third con is location, and depending on how you look at this could be a plus or a minus. But if you do plan to go to Central Phoenix, the airport, Scottsdale regularly, I would just anticipate that particularly during rush hour, you're looking at over an hour. And if there's an accident, it could probably take you an hour, 15, 20 minutes. It's definitely not near as long of a commute as Queen Creek or Santan Valley, but it's still not the most central area. However, the one good thing about it is that you're pretty close to the 202, a major freeway. So if you do have to commute to other areas of the East Valley, Tempe, Mesa, being close to the 202 definitely makes it much more convenient. Now, the fourth con of this neighborhood is that there's not that many homes left. It's actually pretty near completion, so you don't have as many choices. And the homes that are available, most of these are move-in ready, so you aren't gonna be able to select custom features and so forth. However, the builder is currently building a new community directly south called Waterston Central, and we don't know too much about it yet, but the builders did reveal that the home prices were gonna be pretty comparable, the lot sizes were going to be similar. The amenities were going to be fantastic, just like Waterston North. So if you want more details, just send me a message. And as soon as I hear more info from the builder, I will pass it on to you. Now, this is just one of the many communities in Gilbert. So if you're interested in learning more about Gilbert, I do have this playlist right here. Check it out. There's some good stuff in there. And thank you so much for your time. Have a fantastic day.